Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen, looking at a highlight of what's coming in 2019 briefly for the game and what I'm most excited about, events, concepts, all that sort of jazz, what we can expect. We have patches 3.5 to 3.8 coming out. So 3.5, the end of March, 3.6, the end of June, 3.7 between the end of September and mid-October, because that one is supposed to be released with CitizenCon, and 3.8 will be at the end of December. We have 3.5 and 3.6 on the roadmap, showing what they've sort of got planned already, but nothing beyond that for the persistent universe that's not just being inferred from the Squadron 42 roadmap. We do know that we are getting ArcCorp, which is an entire city planet. They are working on microtech, which has various biomes. We've seen the sort of like Nordic forests, but also some interesting, more highland field type areas. They mentioned interesting weather conditions that are planned for this as well. So if we start to see dynamic weather this year, I will be very happy. Microtech is very much planned towards the end of the year, though. They are also trying to have Orison, the Cloud City and the major landing zone for the Crusader gas giant, done by the end of the year too, if they can fit that in. Other new gameplay includes salvage mechanics, law and reputation systems, repair mechanics, physical inventories, refueling, a guild system with new missions, NPCs, and some new ships as well, including the Banu Defender, 890 Jump, and Constellation Taurus. They have said that the Carrack is in development currently and is planned for being flyable potentially this year as well. And I would very much expect that. I would expect a reasonable amount of ships to come out in 3.7 and 3.8. The new flight model. This, for me, is the most exciting and important thing coming in 2019. And it will be iterated beyond 3.5 all the way through Star Citizen's progress until probably Squadron 42 is released, and it will definitely see balance even after that. Star Citizen has seen lots of issues with combat, ESP, and its flight model since 3.0. 2.6.3 being some of the best gameplay that I've had when it comes to one-on-one and dogfighting combat, for me at least personally. The new flight model aims to be more performance efficient. It's designed and implemented by the same team, rather than making that a separate task for different teams. So it should be less buggy and more working as intended. It's supposed to be a simpler, more unified model, allowing you to have acceleration and velocity control. You set your own restrictions on speed and the amount of control and precision you have, basically, and the faster you go, the less control you have. Atmospheric flight will have lift and the like. You'll be able to feel your ship's engines and thrusters much more. You'll feel your ship fighting against certain like gravitational effects, atmosphere, or if you've taken damage or whatever, you'll certainly be able to feel your ship trying to pull you in one direction if you've lost a thruster from a side, whatever. Also, most ships will be driven from the rear main engines and velocity will carry, so ships will have a more of a World War II modern fighter sort of style in mind, and you'll have to consider maneuvering more before you do it. You're not just going to have super responsive ships turning on their axis and spinning around and killing everything. You'll have more of a turning circle. The Xi'an ships, they're going to be much more agile when it comes to how they're sort of like ships driven, because they have the articulated thrusters. They can sort of like point them in any direction, and then they have much more maneuverability and agility because of that. The hope is as well that AI ships will be more suited to this model, or at least they've built the AI and been working on it for this model, so it allows for a more challenging, engaging combat experience with both AI and players from the off. ESP is also being worked on for the new system too. I literally can't see how they could get ESP working any worse. So just a little bit of normalization of aiming when I get really close to a target, so I don't under or overshoot, but it's typically more of the overshooting I'm worried about when it comes to ESP, so hopefully not too sticky, hopefully a significantly more subtle model than we've previously seen. Another part I'm looking forward to is, related to this I suppose, is improvements to multi-crew, and more specifically with turrets, which are in a reasonable state as of 3.4.1, admittedly, though they still need a bit of love, and obviously they'll need working into the new model for flight. And MFDs and crew stations. So the more data they expose to players, the more functions they allow with ship systems, and that they get integrated into ships, the better. And then we have more things to do with MFDs and crew stations than multifunction displays. Physicalized components and repair will massively play into this. The Terrapin should be the first ship we see this year with all of its components physicalized, and therefore can be removed by hand and individually destroyed or damaged and repaired. But having crew running around repairing and doing more around a ship is key to that multi-crew experience. They should also actually see higher times to kill for ships, and ships being disabled a lot of the time rather than destroyed, as the individual systems around a ship will be destroyable and damageable, as I said. They are trying to get full persistence in later this year. This is one of the core pillars of the game they identified at CitizenCon 2018. This is also suggests to me they're trying to get a load of their group and organization features in as well. So full persistence, this will allow you to pick up and leave objects around the verse, and for that data to persist. So you could come back in a day's time and the object would still be there that you left, whether it's a teacup or a cup of sugar or, I don't know, a gun, assuming that nothing's happened to it anyway, no one else has picked it up or it's been destroyed somehow. This is also tied into progression and is needed before we can get less in the way of Alpha UEC and database resets. Reasons to play, the progression, that's all super important for the game, for me anyway. I love testing the game, I love seeing the game, but there's only a certain amount of hours I can play, the sort of like repetitive testing nature of stuff. I need progression, and full persistence, that is a giant step towards that. It's also part of laying the foundations for server meshing, which is going to be worked on throughout 2019, but server meshing is not something that is going to be done this year. One of the features in 3.5 allows for increased server caps, so hopefully we should see the 50-player limit per server jump up significantly by 2020, even before server meshing is ready. The Squadron 42 roadmap features will be subsumed into the persistent universe as appropriate to throughout the year. Obviously, some of the features that are in the Squadron 42 roadmap do require a bit of extra work before being put into the persistent universe. Some will literally just be core tech they can just sidestep into without any work or out much work. And this is from better AI to improved HUDs to animation work. Some of the highlights of that actually are medical mechanics, player status mechanics, meaning that eating, drinking, and washing will all be important. EVA grav boot mechanics, so your EVA pack will thrust downwards to simulate gravity. Ragdoll and body dragging, ways of interacting with the environment, sort of like mounted weapons, pushing and pulling boxes. All sort of stuff that should be making its way into the persistent universe this year. Performance improvements. There's going to be some more performance improvements with every patch. The long-awaited Vulkan integration is very likely to be one of these, as they probably need it for Squadron 42 becoming feature-ready. So we should actually see a bit more polish when it comes to options and such in the game as well. Hopefully more options that we can do from the menu system. Also expect server-side object container streaming at some point. This is another one that will help with the amount of clients on each server as well. Let's move on to some events that are going to be happening throughout the year. It's possible we could see something from Gamescom or E3, but it's likely to be a Squadron 42 trailer if they do anything, gearing up with that advertising for when Squadron 42 is planned to be released. Around the middle of October, there should be a CitizenCon 2949 event. If the rotation of events is anything to go by, then it should actually be in the UK this year. If that is, then I will 100% be attending. This should be another big fan fest that will also be live streamed. Expect concept sales, gameplay reveals, timeline roadmap updates, and presentations on various aspects of the game. Late November should see the 2949 anniversary sale expo thing. This is where they sell pretty much everything that's previously been on sale for a week-long period. Some of the larger or rarer ships are limited by a certain amount of hulls that they sell as well. They physicalized the event in 2018 at Lawville, so expect something similar this year. This is likely to come with a free flight at the same time, meaning anyone can try the game for free, and that might also come with access to all ships to try in some way during that expo period. We didn't get a holiday special in 2018, but we did get a huge info dump and financials of CIG being made public. As Squadron 42 could be pretty close to launch, then I expect we might see some info or a new trailer or a behind the scenes or some reveals or something like that. I'm hoping that we do get a holiday special in 2019. Pre-recorded video is absolutely fine. So yeah, Squadron 42 is aimed at being content and feature complete by the end of this year, or at least extremely close to it. There's going to be a polishing with the alpha and beta before they actually goes live, and there could certainly be delays. The plan is that it's going to have a 2020 launch, it looks like, and yeah, it's awesome. We've been waiting for the game for years now. Go Squadron 42, give it to me. Concept sales and ships. So typically they have a concept sale every 6 weeks or so now, but the first one could be like mid-February time. Typically that's when they start. And there's a lot of potentials that we could see for concept sales or ship sales, but I don't have any solid information. So I'll go through a few of them that we could see. The Anvil F-8C civilian version of the F-8 heavy fighter, the Drake Corsair exploration ship, sort of like the Drake version of the Constellation Aquila, the Cygnus Spider Miner or Tick Miner thing, the Titan exosuits, the RSI Bengal heavy carrier, the Pegasus medium carrier. We could see some more Vandal, Asperia, or other alien converted ships. So like the Cleaver boarding ship, the Void Bomber, the Driller capital ship, the Stinger heavy fighter, the Hunter corvette. To be honest, when it comes to actual ship sales, don't expect anything that is super large alien-wise, because they need to convert them for alien use. So like the Driller or the Hunter corvette and stuff like that, very unlikely to ever be flyable by players, but maybe in the future, who knows. The reconcepting of the Redeemer gunship, because it's becoming a full gunship now. There's lots of potential ground vehicles. I'm expecting to see ground vehicles at some point that do the same sort of roles as ships, so salvage, repair, potentially towing as well. Might see a tow ship. Some more alien ships like a Devaran fighter, converted Vandal ships, alien hybrid medium ships, and Xi'an bomber, maybe, things like that. Of all of those, the Titan suit is by far the most interesting to me anyway. Also, the 300 series rework is something I'm quite excited about, mainly because they have said that there's going to be a new way to buy and customize ships. So you'll be able to customize your ship's color and loadout, I think, potentially more from the RSO website before you buy, and that, I think, becomes its default loadout when you get it back on insurance. This is premiering with the 300 series and 3.5, so end of March. Some will argue that it's certainly a marketing thing to make more money, and that's certainly going to be part of it, but for me, if it's allowing for lots of new customization and also the functionality becomes available fully in game at some point, then it's actually pretty exciting. It depends on exactly what we get to customize. We'll have to wait and see exactly what's planned for this though. People have speculated that naming ships and applying decals may be available at this time as well as interior customization. You might be able to switch out all your weapons to whatever weapons you want, all your systems as well, so you can have military style power plants and stuff as standard, but as I said, we'll have to wait and see. We should have a proper Persistent Universe roadmap update within the next few weeks that should expose the updated plans for 3.6, 3.7 and 3.8. We shall go over that in a bit more detail when we know more, but please tell me what you're most looking forward to in 2019. Every month we have a giveaway for a Star Citizen ship. For January, we have a standalone Anvil Carrack, the mighty explorer vessel. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning is be subscribed to my YouTube channel and then comment on any of my videos released during the month. You can find more details in the comments below. If you don't have a gaming PC yet, or you are upgrading, instead consider Shadow Cloud Gaming. They allow you to leverage the powers of the internet to stream a high-spec Windows 10 environment to any other PC, Mac, or device like a smartphone or tablet. It is working really well in Star Citizen's 3.4 branch, and be sure to use the code BoredGamer if you do decide to check it out to get a discount. Links below. For those of you wanting to support the channel further, there is Patreon, and I will be looking for an alternative platform as well for people that have requested that. But in addition, or as an alternative to that at the moment, there's the YouTube channel memberships, literally the join button below this video, or direct donations via the links below as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, as it really does help me. Any feedback or opinions is greatly appreciated and helps guide the channel working out what content is a good idea to put out next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the verse.